everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Oldie tag. The tag was created by Monica. I will leave a link to her channel below. I felt really left out not doing the Booktube newbie tag because it just wasn't a thing when I first started Booktube, and I could have done it when I came back again in 2018, but I just didn't know it was a thing. So I'm really glad that Monica created this tag for the older creators who may have missed the newbie tag, or for creators who have been around for a while, did do the newbie tag and then have more things to say. There are 7 questions in this tag, so let's get started. First question is, how long have you been on Booktube? My Booktube anniversary is coming up in October. I started on the 30th of October 2010, which means I've been on Booktube for nearly 10 years, which is crazy to me. When I first started Booktube, I did think that it would be a hobby that I would enjoy because I really liked watching YouTube videos. I really liked talking about books, so I started my book blog and Booktube around the same time, but I wasn't expecting to be around for 10 years, to be honest. I had gone through quite a few different hobbies before I found one that really sat well with me. I definitely had a habit of abandoning hobbies halfway through because it just wasn't really my passion, but Booktube, book blogging and reading definitely are, and I'm so glad that I started doing Booktube in 2010 because I've seen like the progression of the community and how it has grown, so I really feel like I've got some insight there, and it was just really nice to see everyone come together. It's been nice to see more and more people join the community. So I have been a part of Booktube for 9.5 years now, and I don't think I'm going to stop. I do take some breaks sometimes. My last break was between 2015 and 2017 or 18, but honestly my life is kind of settled now and I don't see myself taking breaks unless something extreme happens. Second question is, what was your biggest misconception before starting Booktube? The thing is, I don't know if I had any misconceptions before starting Booktube because Booktube was still so new. I think when I started, Booktube had been around for a few years, except it wasn't really a community at that point. There were just pockets of people, or more so they were individual people talking about books and reviewing books. There definitely wasn't the community aspect coming together. I could do an entire video on the history of Booktube and how it's changed and grown and developed since 2010, so if you're interested in that, let me know. But basically, in answer to this question, I didn't really have many misconceptions about Booktube itself, but I did have a couple of misconceptions about kind of the process or about being a booktuber. So one of my misconceptions was I thought that people would laugh at me on the internet because I wasn't expecting Booktube to be such a welcoming community. It was quite scary putting my face out there for the first time, and I know that if I had started earlier when I was younger in school, I think I would have been even more nervous about my classmates laughing at me, but because I was just leaving school at the point that I started, I didn't really have that problem, but I was worried about friends and family finding out that I was on Booktube. Now less so. I'm still not a fan of friends and family watching my Booktube videos, and I do worry about it getting out at work in the office, but at the beginning I was definitely more worried about people laughing at me or taking the piss. Another misconception is that I thought that video editing would be easier and more fun. I find editing really boring, and because I find it boring, I can't really do much more than the basics because I just don't have it in me to learn. I would love to do fancy zooms and graphics and I don't know, things flying across the screen, but I really don't enjoy editing and I don't want to spend more time on it than I have to, so my editing isn't great still. It's mostly just jump cuts, but I definitely thought it would be more fun in the beginning. Question 3 is, how do you think Booktube has changed since you first started? Well, how hasn't it changed? First of all, to start with, the community has gotten a lot bigger. That's definitely the biggest change. I think when I started there were maybe 5 to 20 people in the actual community and then various offshoots of individuals talking about books, but in the solid community I would say there were up to 20 people who all knew each other, they were all friendly. And then slowly throughout 2011 the Booktube community started to get bigger and it expanded a lot more, and then you started getting the friendship groups. And over the past 9.5 years a lot of people have left Booktube as well. It's a real shame. Priscilla from The Readables, she was the biggest booktuber back in the day, and she left because I think she wasn't enjoying Booktube anymore. She wasn't reading as much, she was focusing on her art career. Raylene from Padfoot and Prongs, she's also left. She's doing other bookish things, but she's not doing Booktube anymore. And those were 2 quite big names, and Priscilla had been around since I started, so it was a real shame to see her go. And I think I know of only a handful of people who are still around since 2010, which is a shame because I made so many friends back then, and between various breaks from any of us, we've kind of all drifted apart, and yeah, it's not fun. That said, there are some positive aspects. The community is a lot more diverse now, and I think people are making more of a conscious effort to be more diverse with their reading and to represent various minorities and genres, which is incredible. I think it also helps that the publishers are publishing more diverse books, but I think that only happens because of the outcry from the community, which I think started in book blogging, came over to Booktube, and now the publishers are actually listening in YA, which is fantastic. There's also a lot more variety. I think in in the beginning a lot of people were talking about the most popular books because that's what got them into reading, and now you've definitely got more variety in that not everyone's talking about YA. You've got the adult fantasy booktubers, you've got the mixed booktubers like me, you've got the people who only read non-fiction or classics or literary fiction, and then you've got a ton of people reading comics as well. So there's a whole mixture, variety of different booktubers, which wasn't really around in the beginning because the community was so small. Another thing I wanted to mention is that the videos are now a lot longer. I remember back in the day you had to do a 5-minute video. Anything longer than 5 minutes was just not promoted by the YouTube algorithm. I think Hank Green did a whole video on this in probably 2011, 2012 about how to cut down your videos to make them fast-paced and to keep viewers engaged so that they weren't getting bored. But now everyone recommends that your video is over 10 minutes because that's what the algorithm will pick up. It will increase the watch time and YouTube will then promote your videos. And also 10 minutes allows for longer discussions, better book reviews, more interesting vlogs. So it was really interesting to see the switch from 5-minute videos to 10-minute videos or more, and I'm really glad I was around to see that. Question number 4 is, what is your favourite booktube memory? And I do have a few. The most general one is being able to meet booktube people that I met online in real life. A couple of my closest friends are ones that I met on booktube, more book blogging really, but it counts as booktube, and it's just been really nice to get to know them in person and to go to their house and see that they are like real people. There are a few more specific memories that I have. The first one being going to the Divergent premiere. I was invited by the publisher along with a bunch of other book bloggers and booktubers, and we got to go along the red carpet. Kind of partly we didn't go past the press stuff, but we walked in through there and we got to see Divergent in Leicester Square, so that was a lot of fun, and I definitely enjoyed the experience of watching Divergent more in that setting. I don't think it would have been as enjoyable if I had watched it at home. And then also going to Yauk for the first time. I went to the very first one when it first opened, when it was just in the corner of LFCC. It was tiny, it was boiling, you had queues for absolutely miles, and there definitely weren't as many books or authors there. But I did go with one of my good friends, Tatum, and we had a lot of fun. We met Patrick Ness and Rainbow Rowell, Darren Shan, a bunch of other authors, and it was tons of fun. My third Yauk was also a lot of fun. I went last year in 2019 and I met with a bunch of booktubers and book bloggers that I hadn't met in person before, and I spent a lot of time with Justine and Asha and Judith, and it was tons of fun really. I'm really sad that it's not happening this year because I'm going to miss Yauk. I've only been the last couple of years regularly, 3 times in total, and it's fun. I enjoy the atmosphere and the drama that comes out of it. Speaking of drama, I also wanted to mention that one of my biggest booktube memories is also the Story Siren drama. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite memories, but it really sticks out to me because it was a huge learning curve for a lot of book bloggers. Basically, the Story Siren was the biggest book blogger at the time. Everyone looked to her blog to go for tips and advice on requesting arcs and how to book blog basically, and she was sent books from almost all the publishers. She did a lot of YA. She started in my mailbox, which started book haul videos, and it was the first kind of book haul meme to go around the community, and she was caught plagiarising from another couple of blogs outside of the booktube community. I think they were lifestyle or beauty bloggers, and that drama just erupted. It was huge, and yeah, it was just kind of like something has switched in the community after that, because if the biggest book blogger wasn't genuine and everyone looked up to her, I think everyone was just disappointed, and it was kind of a dark time for the community as a whole. I think that happened in 2013. I can't remember the exact date. So that's something that really stood out to me. Question number 5 is, what are some books that you were introduced to because of booktube? Most of them, probably. I can't really think of anything specific apart from The Forest of Hands and Teeth, which is one of the first books that I reviewed on my channel, and Choker by Elizabeth Wood, which is an underrated book. It came out in 2010, I think, and I'm pretty sure I only picked it up because I saw it on booktube. Nowadays, all the books that I discover tend to be from doing my own research, hearing about them on Twitter, friends telling me about them, so nothing that's specifically because of booktube, but most of them are because of the online community. Question number 6 is, what is something that frustrates you about booktube? The drama. I think everyone's going to answer with the same thing. The drama really gets to me. It's really frustrating going onto Twitter and seeing people subtweeting left, right and centre and arguing over the most silly things. Like, there's a global pandemic going on right now and people are arguing over readathons, and I'm sure it didn't used to be like this. I don't remember it being like this in the beginning, but since the community has grown and I think has absorbed a lot of younger readers, drama has become more and more common. I'm not just saying the younger readers are the ones causing the drama, because there are definitely some older readers, booktubers and book bloggers who are over 30 who are doing the exact same thing. So I'm not really sure why it's happened. I think it's just a case of the community being huge now and all the different personalities coming in. But it does really frustrate me. I just wish everyone was friends, because that's what a lot of people started Booktube for, is to make friends and not to argue over stupid things. The algorithm also frustrates me on Booktube. I understand SEO and all of that kind of thing, but the algorithm just doesn't pick things up sometimes, and I think a lot of booktubers that I know, I think they should be bigger, but the algorithm, it just isn't picking them up. But then it seems to pick on random people who I just don't know how they got that huge, which is fine, like congratulations to them, but the algorithm doesn't make sense to me. And another thing that frustrates me about Booktube is that I feel like I can't be as creative as I would like. I've got tons of what I think are creative ideas. For various reasons I can't pull them off. Maybe because of my editing holding me back because I'm not very good at it, or not having enough time to focus on these different projects that I'd like to do, or being overwhelmed. So I would really like to be more creative with my videos. It's also quite frustrating when I come up with an idea, I post the video, and then someone else posts the same video and they get more attention, which is, again, it's fine, they're doing the exact same thing that I did. But again, the algorithm doesn't make any sense, and it's just a bit demoralizing sometimes. I really enjoy the creativity of Booktube, and I like how varied it has become. I definitely want to try to be more creative in the future. It's just really freaking hard not to just do this normal sit down videos. And finally, question number 7 is, what is your hope for the future of Booktube? I hope that Booktube becomes a friendlier place. I think for the most part it is quite friendly, but the drama definitely puts people off of staying in Booktube. So if we could all be a bit friendlier, that would be nice. I would like Booktube to get more recognition, and I would like smaller booktubers to get more recognition as well. I would really like for it to be a more close-knit community than it is sometimes. And I also love it when Booktube is recognised in the press, so like on BuzzFeed or in news articles. I think that's amazing, so if that could keep happening, that would be great. And I would also really like to see more authors become involved on Booktube, not necessarily to start their own Booktube channels, but to take part in author interviews or projects or things like that. I understand that authors have a lot on their plate, so it's not always an option for them, but if they do have time, I think it would be really nice to get them in on the community, because they've been doing guest posts and interviews on blogs for absolutely years, but I haven't really seen the same thing come over to Booktube, so I think that's something that I would really enjoy. Those are all the questions answered. This video turned out a lot longer than I thought it would. Thank you so much for watching this video. I don't really know who to tag. If you're a Booktube oldie, feel free to tag yourself. I don't really know what counts as a Booktube oldie, which is also why I'm hesitant to tag people. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do let me know if you'd like me to do anything similar in the future, not necessarily as a tag, but maybe as a history of Booktube discussion or something. Thanks again for watching, and I'll speak to you all in my next video. Bye.